What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report. Matthew Peterson here with you guys, getting you ready for Snowmageddon, the Snowpocalypse, the Snowball. Browns, Bills this Sunday. We hope in Buffalo. We're going to recap the latest news out there on what's supposed to be, just an NFL game for the ages, right? 6 feet of snow. That is just football porn in my eyes right there. But first, if you had to predict the score right now, which is tough to do when you can't confidently say where the game will be played and under what conditions, but let's just assume it's in Buffalo and with a lot of snow, right? Maybe not 6 feet of snow, but a lot of snow. The last time these two teams played under those conditions was 2007, a safety off a bad snap, and 2 Phil Dawson field goals made it an 8-0 game. I don't see a way a team scores 2 touchdowns, right? You're going to be lucky to get 1, and you hope your field goal kicker goes 2 for 2. So I'll go... I'm falling to the trap. Give me the Browns, baby. Browns 7-6, right? 1 touchdown versus 2 field goals. If it really comes down to running the football, I know the Browns' defensive line is atrocious, but I've got more faith in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt pounding the rock on the ground. So let me know your score predictions. Tim Green, wow, 45-42. That sounds like a game that's going to be played in a dome. Levi saying 9-7 Yorker, go Browns, baby. Maybe 3 field goals and a touchdown? I don't mind that. I don't mind it. Ryan with a super chat to start the show. Let's go, Ryan. V Zizzle, 13-7. Jersey Dog, 9-7 Brownies. Mark Stevenson, good to see you. Always enjoy going back and forth with you on Twitter. McKendrick Allman, a lot of the usual suspects filling up the crowd here. Super chat from Ryan. Chubb is 5'11" to 6 feet of snow. I don't know why, but I never thought of it that way. You're right. Could snow... I forgot 6 feet is taller than a lot of people, so...
Devin Singletary, 5'7" on the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, there would be some snow plows out there on the field. My brain didn't even think of that. Running 6 feet high of snow. Yeah, that would be tough. That would be tough. Okay, while you're getting your score predictions in, I want to tell everyone watching about our brand new sponsor here at Chat Sports. So today's Browns Report is sponsored by Established Titles. Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of 1 square foot with a unique plot number on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. We plan to tree with every order and work with global charities One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. You can officially include the title Lord or Lady on credit card, plane tickets, dating profiles, etc. It makes a great last-minute gift too. The first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot within a few minutes of walking distance. Depending on how many of you want to become a lord or a lady, we can build our own Browns kingdom. It makes an amazing last-minute gift. Established Titles, guys, is actually running a massive early Black Friday sale right now with discounts up to 80% off. Plus, you can get an additional 10% off when you go to establishedtitles.com/chat and use promo code CHAT. Help us support the channel by checking it out, plus help preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland. I've got that link for everyone in the comments and the description of today's show. All right, shout out your city. Let me know where you are watching from today. It's always good to do a bit of a roll call in case we got some new members of our audience tuning in. Really fun to see how far and wide the dog pound stretches. Ray Collins getting his score prediction in with a 14-10. I like it, Ray. We got someone from Columbus. Brett's in Naples, Florida. Sandusky, Ohio. Alex is in Cleveland. Wolfstand Killers in Louisville, Ohio. Okay. Zach's in Ohio. Where else is everyone at today? Let me know in the comments right now. Cincy, South Dakota from JD. That might win the most unique hometown award for today's show. Let's see if anyone can beat it. Akron, Medina, Hawaii in the house. Ryan, whatever happened. That's funny, Ryan. You got to talk to the powers to be at Chat Sports, okay? We're still on Rumble, though. We are still on Rumble. We're live on Rumble. All right. That does feel like 100 years ago. Believe me, I know. Shaylin's in Dallas. That's what I love to see. Emily's in Knoxville, Tennessee. I spent 4 years in Knoxville. Go Vols. Big game this Saturday. Let me know who your college football team is. College football playoffs starting to shape up a little bit. We're starting to know the contenders from the pretenders. I think the Vols are going to, that's sneaking. They should be one of the top 4 teams because they are one of the top 4 teams. All right, go Vols. Orlando, Florida from Corey. JD, who's in Buffalo. Yeah, we need some boots on the ground. We got to get some reports going because the snow has already started to fall. Which brings me to this here. Do you like snow games? Kurt Warner has an all-time bad take of every game should be in a dome to get the purest football. Boo! I love snow football, right? There is something, too, when you play for a team like the Cleveland Browns and you are in Cleveland, I don't want them to go to a dome because that's a part of the DNA and the fabric of playing in Cleveland. That after September and late and early October, you're going to play some hard-nosed AFC North football. And that means see your breath, and it's going to have snow on the ground. I love snow football. Now, maybe not like that Bills-Patriots game last year with those bizarre wins and no one could pass. That's a little bit extreme. But those games don't happen every single week. So I don't think because of one extreme game every few years, we have to just dome every stadium in America. All right, Ryan, with the early lead on the Super Chat MVP today, moved to Detroit. No, keep the game in Buffalo. I'm telling you guys, if this game moves to Detroit and it's played in Ford Field, the Bills are going to blow out the Browns, right? Josh Allen in a dome, that's not where you want the game to be. You want the benefit of having Mother Nature take away some of Josh Allen and the Bills' biggest strengths. You need to bring the Bills down to your level because Jacoby Brissett, he's not going to outduel Josh Allen in a shootout. So keep it in Buffalo. No. It just, okay. Well, it got moved. Damn. I guess, fuck. It just got moved. Okay. Wow. All right, we got to start planning on the fly right here. So let's just make that the, let's get us, yeah, that'll be the beginning of the show. You guys ready to see some behind the scenes here? We'll have that be the news and rumors cut. Let's get a social, and then we'll keep the Josh Allen stats. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's scrapped. So we'll keep what graphics we can salvage, but let's get the social and just, we got that list 4 already in there. So Patrick's going to work on this really quickly, everyone. Damn. That sucks. That's a bummer. Not going to lie. The Browns in snow had a chance. Now, not so much. Not so much. I'm not going to lie. This is tough. Okay. We need a new title and thumbnail, too. Can you just put that in production? Oh, that blows. Okay, Patrick's going to take care of everything for us, so everyone clap it up for Patrick. Game got moved to Detroit. That's the news. They're playing at Ford Field, which means the Bills, oddly enough, play at Ford Field twice in 4 days. They're going there on Thanksgiving. So the NFL clearly, and I understand why. I was just hoping they wouldn't get to this point. We're going to need some help. Yeah, we need a new thumbnail, and hopefully if someone could do a highlight cut. That would be nice. Someone can get the highlight cut. Well, if we get Abby or Sperry, I don't care who. Okay. All right. Let me get back on track. Let me wrap my head around this for a second here. So, playing in Detroit, that's going to benefit the Bills. The Bills are much better in domes because Josh Allen doesn't have the weather to impact this. Why do they move it? It's not even as much probably because of playable conditions. It is a lot because of the logistics. Yeah. That's a good idea. So, a couple reasons why this probably got moved. All right. One, the travel logistics. You are moving a whole operation every single NFL game with the away team coming in. We're talking planes, we're talking trucks, we're talking buses, bringing players, staffers, and equipment. If there's a huge snowstorm, their buses and their equipment trucks or whatever are not going to make it all the way to Buffalo. That's a big factor. Plus, CBS, the TV, the number one, quiet but very big factor in this, they can't get their camera crews there. If they can't get set up for a professional broadcast, they're going to tell the NFL, you need to move this game. And so where do they go? Detroit. Now, they couldn't do the game any other time because the Bills play on Thanksgiving. So this game can't be postponed to Monday or Tuesday in Buffalo because they're already playing on a short week. So as a result, this one is getting played on Sunday in Detroit. Not ideal. I'm not going to lie. The Browns had a chance in my eyes when it was played with a couple feet of snow, and it was going to be Nick Chubb against Devin Singletary on the ground. Now that it's in a dome and Josh Allen can spray the ball all over, I'm terrified. I am absolutely terrified. Yeah, JD with the super chat. Petey's balloon just got deflated. Big time. Damn. I mean, Also, I had all these fun, stats and stuff ready for getting played in the snow. I don't know, my whole morning just went to waste. But anywho, yeah, the Eagles signed Ndamukong Suh, which I was also going to bring up, but we have this now. So the Eagles did sign Ndamukong Suh. So everyone, pour one out. Rest in peace for the Ndamukong Suh to the Browns rumors. They're done. It's over. There is no more move. It's not coming. Linval Joseph is not coming. Maybe Sheldon Richardson as the last notable name still on the street right now, but it's not happening, guys. We tried. We spammed 93 for a long time. All offseason into the season. Ultimately, Andrew Berry does not want to spend more money this year, have it roll over to next year, which I sort of get. Mark Stevenson, if you're still watching, you pointed that out on Twitter. But when you're signing someone in November, you're paying them for 2.5 months of work. That's $2-3 million. You're telling me the Browns, who have the most cap space in the NFL right now, can't afford $2-3 million? No. I think there's a little bit more to it. Maybe those guys aren't in football shape and the Eagles are going to learn. But ultimately, I think Andrew Berry is sinking his teeth in and hoping that in the second half of the season, these guys can turn it around. Because football is a long season. We're entering week 11 of 18. There's a lot of football left. I'm not all that optimistic they're going to turn it around. Why would we think that? When have we seen any sort of evidence? Jordan Elliott's best play that comes to mind was the Jags game. That was the preseason. He had a nice tackle for loss. Nice sack on Trevor Lawrence. Perrion Winfrey, a nice batted down pass. Taven Bryant's had some good moments here and there. Togiai, what else do I have to say? Come on. So it's a bummer that the Browns are not being a little bit more aggressive and accepting that their defensive line is ass cheeks and they're letting every other free agent go out there. So, at least if your team makes a signing, which they did with the Dolphins, Ben Still, it shows they're not accepting the current results. But how much does a free agent signing from a practice squad really signal we're taking this seriously? Okay. The script? Yeah, a little bit. You're going to have to drive the whole ship here. You can keep some of those matchups probably. You know what I mean? Yep, okay. So, here, I'm going to delete some of the things that for sure have no chance. Oh, jeepers creepers. Yeah, okay. Well, lucky us. All right. Well, it'll get highlight cut when it gets highlight cut. All right. If you could put in Slack when someone can make a highlight cut, and we need a new thumbnail. All right. So we got a super chat coming in from Ryan. Ryan will throw it on screen in just a moment. Patrick is getting everything ready for kind of an adjusted show here because we're going to 180 now. But it is that. All right. Thank you, Ryan. I did not know this. So game got pushed back. My guess is just because of conflicting TV times. So it's at 4:15 Eastern, 3:15 Central. So There's no take. It's just later now, I guess. I was about to say something cool, but no. I'd rather play at 1. There's nothing worse than an ass kicking in the afternoon slate, the late afternoon slate, because those are supposed to be maybe some of the better games. But start drinking now to ease the pain for the rest of this flop of a season. I mean, the Bills game was always supposed to be a loss. So, we had an opportunity to steal one here. That's the way I look at this, right? Unfortunately, that opportunity is now robbed of us. I also had a really cool thumbnail made for this video. Damn, I was in the lab for that too. Damn. It's just, it would have been so sweet if the Browns were to knock, and they still can. I'm being pretty pessimistic. It's still any given Sunday. Kevin Stefanski can roll in there and upset the Bills. The last 2 weeks, no one had the Jets beating the Bills. Very few people had the Vikings beating the Bills. Just Patrick was the only one in America who thought the Vikings could beat Buffalo. So you can, go full Al Pacino mode on yourself and say any given Sunday, we can do this, guys. But the way the Browns have looked, I mean, coming off the bye, you're supposed to be sharp, right? You're supposed to have your best game plan. That was probably the worst game all season. I think it was worse than the Patriots game. You gave up 1 more point, but you also had 2 weeks to prepare. And they looked dramatically underprepared. Kevin Stefanski does a great job of scripting opening drives, right? They went down the field, marched down the field, scored a touchdown. It was awesome. DPJ had a big catch. But ultimately, when bullets start flying, Stefanski is not someone who's going to pop up and just mow down the enemy. If he does not get off to a good start and has a defense to fall back on, the moment this team starts to trail, at least with Jacoby Brissett, and that will change when Watson takes over, they are not built to make a comeback. They are built to play with leads, to run the football, to kill clock, to move down the field position. Gritty AFC North football. They're not built to go toe-to-toe and win 45-42 in my eyes. So, game move to Detroit, Michael says. Yep, we're recapping that. We're going to cover this. We're going to break it down here. We ready to somewhat start? Whenever you think you've got it under control, graphics-wise. And unless someone makes the thumbnail, no. Sorry. You guys enjoying the behind-the-scenes look here? Or Jeepers, Creepers, or copy? Just put it in Slack, put the doc and say, when someone can, please, This is what we get. No love for the Browns. Even in Chat Sports. The most disrespected franchise. There's no love. Sucks. That's why I not to go full soapbox mode here, but that's why I want this channel to really take off and go to the moon so that the Browns Report Chat Sports can no longer be the little brother, right? And they can get all the bells and whistles when big news happens. So, all right. So the Browns and Bills play at 4:15. What are your guys' new score predictions for this game? Let's go back to this question. Now that we know it's being played in a dome, which is perfect for Buffalo, what are your score predictions? Because I originally said 9-7 Browns, and that's going to change. Oh, Levi says it's at 1 o'clock. We've got conflicting reports coming in. I got to check Twitter myself now. Someone tell me. No, it's at 1 o'clock. It's at 1 o'clock. Game's still at 1. We got, all right. No, okay, we got conflicting news, conflicting reports. Adam Schefter said 4:15. But in the NFL press release, it says 1 p.m. Eastern. So someone's lying. I don't know if it's at 4:15 or 1. Because Schefter said 4:15. The NFL announcement says 1. I'm probably going to err on the side of the NFL announcement, but I don't know why Schefter would have said a different time. So, we're off to Ford Field. Standby details. Okay. On the plus side, and I would rather still have it in Buffalo, at least it won't be a home game for the Bills, right? At least you won't be going to their opposing crowd. So, Shefty is an idiot. I don't know if it says 1. Some people say 4:15. It'll have to get straightened out. We got some conflicting reports of what time this game is at. The NFL press release says it's at 1 p.m. Eastern. Schefter said it got moved to 4:15 p.m. Eastern. So one of those two is lying. I'm probably going to go with Schefter is wrong and say the NFL's got it right at 1 o'clock. So thank you, Ryan. Yep, I'm going to go with the NFL. So let's stick with 1 p.m., which doesn't really change much, honestly. So with that in mind, your score predictions, guys? I'm going to go the Bills. I know I'm usually the director of morale. I've sort of self-appointed myself that role. And every single week, I'll talk myself into the Browns somehow doing it. The Dolphins game was my final straw, though. I really thought if they were going to have an opportunity to turn their season around, it was a win against the Bengals on Halloween, going into the bye, upset the Dolphins, look strong going into Buffalo. Instead, that Bengals game just looks like a fluke. It just looks like Taki had the game of his life. Joe Burrow played awful at home on Halloween. The Browns were able to run away with it, but I don't see much evidence. The Browns have not won on a Sunday since week 1. You know how sad that is? Like, Sunday is supposed to be the best day of the week because we have football. And to win just one game on Sunday so far this year, it's a crime. All right. We're gonna recap this. Okay, you're ready to go? We put it out for Slack, and if okay, well let's blast off. All right, this game got moved. We're gonna run through the details, the information, establish titles as our sponsor. We're gonna get that, and so we're gonna have a lot of fun talking about this here. So here we go. Let's have a day, guys. Let's go Browns, and by the end, I will convince myself the Browns are winning. I will do that. I am sick in the head. Here we go. Let's do this thing. We got some breaking news coming in during our live Browns report. The Week 11 game against the Bills has officially been moved to the Motor City. They will play at Ford Field in Detroit, and this is a bummer in my eyes. One, we are robbed of what could have been the most ultimate snowball fight in NFL history. I mean, 6 feet of snow is taller than Nick Chubb. But the Browns, if they really had any chance of winning this game in my eyes, it was going to be in the conditions, in the snow, which would have limited Josh Allen's abilities, taken away their biggest strength, and forced it to be Nick Chubb versus Devin Singletary. And I like the Browns' odds a lot more in that battle than in a nice air-conditioned dome in Detroit here. But Dov tweeting out that the Bills-Browns game has been moved to Detroit per Mary Kay. Now, there was some conflicting information on the time of this game. Adam Schefter said 4:15 Eastern. The NFL press release said 1 p.m. Eastern, the original game time. I'm going to go with the NFL here. Schefter, you probably dropped the ball on this one here. So it's going to stay at 1 p.m. Now, it is sort of interesting, and we're going to kind of go through this. Josh Allen and the Bills might just stay in Detroit because they play on Thanksgiving on Thursday, 4 days later, which is why this game could not be postponed to Monday or Tuesday and keep it in Buffalo. It had to be played on Sunday, and they couldn't get it done in Buffalo, which we're going to run through some of the logistics sort of in just a moment. But do you guys like snow games? I think we were robbed of an opportunity for the Browns and the Bills to play in an all-time snow game in NFL history. I know Kurt Warner wants domes on all 32 NFL states, or 30, 29, however many there are, but you can't tell me there's something about AFC North snow football, the lake effect. I love it. Give it to me. I never want to see the Browns get a dome stadium. The Bills, they are much better in a dome, so maybe for Josh Allen's sake they should, even though their new stadium is not going to feature one. But let me know, yes or no, do you like snow games? So originally, today's show was supposed to go over some of the factors that might get this game moved. Well, now the game has been moved. So, sorry if some of the tense of the grammar is not correctly. But major factors as to why this game was moved, most likely, travel logistics. You have to move not just 53 players, but all their coaches, all the equipment. That's a lot of stuff moving. And a lot of times, teams will fly in on Saturday afternoon, which is what the Browns do. And depending on where they're playing, they'll put it on a truck, they'll put it on a team bus, whatever, and they'll drive it overnight, leave on Saturday morning. Well, it's a little tough to drive a bus through a snowstorm. So ultimately, they opted to move it to Detroit. All right, that's why I get to the players and equipment travel here. So there's a lot of moving pieces for an NFL game. It is not just showing up because like you're getting dropped off by your parents. No. I mean, everything that goes into moving an NFL team, there are tons and dozens of people who work just to relocate a team every single Sunday. And through a blizzard, a record blizzard, it was always going to be tough to do that. Another reason why. The Bills play on Thanksgiving. So the game never could have been moved to Monday or Tuesday. It always had to be on Sunday because they can't play Monday and Thursday. So then with that in mind, got to find a way to play it somewhere on Sunday. And if it can't be in Buffalo, then you got to find a spot. And that spot was Detroit, who happens to be on the road. And they've also become sort of the de facto, hey, there's really bad weather. Where can we play this random neutral site game? The Lions. Remember what happened in 2010? The old Viking stadium, the old dome, the snow on the roof collapsed in. Stefanski was on the Vikings coaching staff. Well, that game between the Vikings and the Giants, that very snowy December day, got moved to Detroit. Plus, a couple of years ago, a Bills-Jets game in Buffalo got moved to Detroit for the same reasons we're experiencing right now. So much snow that it's not so much that the conditions are unplayable. It's you can't get everything and everyone needed to the stadium safely. In the NFL, there's no running behind. If it's not kicking off at 1, they're going to move it. Right? They might delay it the day of, but they're not going to hope on Sunday the weather clears up and the planes can land and the highways are open. That's not how Roger Goodell works. All right, we've got more factors to get to, and I'll kind of give more analysis and truthfully why this stinks for the Browns in my eyes in just a moment. But today's Browns Report is sponsored by Established Titles. Established Titles is a fun and novel way to help preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. We plant a tree with every order and work with global charities One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. You can officially include the title Lord or Lady on your credit card, plane tickets, dating profiles, etc. It also makes a great last-minute gift. Plus, the first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot, just a few minutes of walking distance. Depending on how many of you want to become a Lord or a Lady, guys, we can build our own Browns kingdom. It makes an amazing last-minute gift too. Established Titles is actually running a massive early Black Friday sale right now with deals up to 80% off. Plus, if you use code CHAT when you go to establishedtitles.com/chat, you can get an additional 10% off. Help support the channel and help global reforestation efforts when you go to establishedtitles.com/chat, promo code CHAT, links in the comments and the description of today's show. All right. Another reason why this game was moved to Detroit and sort of what we just touched on, the Lions are on the road. They are in New Jersey playing the Giants. So that opened up a stadium. And also, you got to keep in mind, it's not just where can we find a field, right? You got to get all of the CBS crew here. Like the TV networks, they can't be forgotten. They are arguably one of the most important pieces of this puzzle. Whenever you want to move games, you have to make sure that the TV broadcast can also be accommodated. And in this case, with the Lions on the road, they can get the TV network in time to Detroit. Meaning they can't just wait to the day of or even the day before and make a decision based on the weather is. CBS, their crews, they don't get there 24 hours before kickoff. They're there much earlier getting all their cameras and the whole production set up. So that is why on a Thursday afternoon, they decide we're not going to even wait and see if the storm hits Buffalo and hits Orchard Park with 6 feet of snow. We don't have time to waste. We can't make that bet. We're going to go to Detroit. Which this is why I don't think it benefits the Browns. Because look at Josh Allen's stats when he plays in domes. Just 4 games, He's a perfect 4-0, 76.5 completion percentage, over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns in those 4 games. This is not what the Browns needed, right? The Browns, they had their best chance with, and this was before the news broke, with Mother Nature limiting Josh Allen, right? Keeping him out of a dome, forcing this to be a ground game, run the football, Nick Chubb against Devin Singletary. Now, don't get me wrong, the Browns defense would not have done a good job against the Bills running game. But if you at least take Josh Allen's ability to pass out of the equation pretty much, that's going to help even the scales a little bit. Now that they're in a dome, it's going to be full air raid for the Bills, that's not going to help at all. We are 59 subscribers, by the way, everyone, from 14,600. Listen, the more subscribers we get here, the more content I can do. Chat Sports has numerous NFL team channels. And the Browns Report, unfortunately, is one of the newer ones, so we're towards the bottom in subscribers. But if we pick up more subs, we can, climb up the totem pole a little bit, and we can get you guys more content. So if you have not subscribed, make sure you do so. Or if you feel the Browns are disrespected, like I do every day I come into work here, hit that big red button. This was what I wrote before the game was moved, so it's a bit dated, but, well, not dated, but it doesn't really play into my argument. The Bills, the last 2 weeks, with their loss to the Jets and to the Vikings, they've turned it over 6 times, and they've allowed 321 rushing yards. That would have been awesome if this game was played outdoors in the snow, where the Bills can't pass it that well. They're being beat up on the ground. Now that it is in a dome, it is not ideal for Cleveland because without the weather impact, this game isn't going to be kind of a weird Patriots-Bills game we saw last year on Monday night where the Bills couldn't pass it at all and Belichick outcoached McDermott and ran the football better. So we always do this once a week, and I got my doghouse. 2 weeks ago after the Bengals game, it was like PD's, happy doghouse. I don't know what, but now after the loss, no. So we're back to negativity. Backyard only is Jedrick Wills. Meaning it's like if you have a dog who you don't trust, with hanging out with other dogs, they get in fights a little bit, so they just stay in your backyard, beware the dog sign. That's Jed Wills. He did not have a good game. Honestly, the offensive line probably had their worst game of the season against Miami. On the leash, meaning take them for walks, but they don't have free range to run wherever they want because you don't trust them that much. That is Joe Woods. The reason why he's not completely in the doghouse is because Joe Woods spoke to the media today and was honestly, I appreciated it, really frankly honest and direct, right? He said, I'm getting a lot of criticism, and I deserve a lot of criticism. And I appreciated that honesty. In my doghouse is Andrew Berry because I believed in him. I was a bit of a sheep in the offseason. His gamble was, we don't need a really good interior defensive line, right? We've got Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney anchoring that D-line. Teams pass it more than ever. We can get by with average defensive tackles like we did last year with the 2 Maliks. The issue with this plan was didn't account for the Browns to have the worst interior defensive line in football. So, with that being said, we wrap up this sort of cut right now with the Browns-Bills game has been moved to Detroit. And I wanted to ask this question. We can throw it on screen. We'll end with this question right here. I wanted this game to be in Buffalo, and we can say, what is your favorite wing sauce, right? What do you love to put on your wings? I like a good mix of, honey barbecue and buffalo, medium, mild, whatever it is. So let me know your favorite wing sauce because originally I thought we were playing in Buffalo when I built this entire show for us today. Now that it's in Detroit, there's nothing cool about Detroit. Detroit pizza sucks. All right, favorite wing sauce, buffalo or hotter. No sauce from Shaylin. I know, you don't like your sauce. No sauce. Go Browns. Jonathan, I think the Clowney experiment is over. I don't know if you really call it, I don't think experiment is the best word because it wasn't like we were curious what the results would be. We had a great year last year with Clowney. But it was a 1-year deal this year, and he's done. Right? He's not coming back next year. No, he's not. Ty Man the Buckeye, Ranch, Wolfstand Killer, Red Hot, Gregory, Buffalo or hotter. We had a super chat come in from the Brown Tiger. We'll throw that on screen. Dang, this really just kind of kills the vibe of. I was so excited for a snowball fight. It was going to be one of the all-time great NFL games of like the Browns won 3-0 in the snow. Did Mother Nature save the season, right? I already kind of pictured like the Browns win this game in the snow. They beat the Bucs at home. They get Deshaun Watson back. They beat the Texans. They've won 3 in a row. They're back to 500. The team no one wants to face in the playoffs if they get there. But now I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Brown Tiger, give me a break, Petey. We all knew it was going to be 51-10 Bills, and I love my Brownies, you know. I know. It wasn't going to be 51-10 if it was in the snow. I really don't think they were going to score that much.
Where is the faith right now? Oh, are we out?
Oh, morale's low. Patrick's not on Browns Twitter.
Are we out right now?
The Dolphins game was a killer. I'm not going to lie.
I know. But
it was bad.
Let's go beat the Bills in Detroit. Let's go
I'll get there by the end of the show.
Come on.
I'm going to dog bowl. Woof, woof.
Josh Allen, he struggles in the second half of the last 2 games. Where is the faith? Who says you can't just go dominate the game with Nick Chubb in that running game? Who says, Petey? Who says?
I say.
Come on, we can do it.
Outside of the Bengals game, the Browns' rushing attack has been outgained.
Okay.
They have no answer on defense. I mean, for example, when the Browns were like 3-3 early in the year, I was like, this is why they need Deshaun Watson. We're good? Appreciate you.
Thank you.
The Browns need Deshaun Watson. With Deshaun Watson, they can win. And I forgot who I was talking to on Twitter about this, but they were like, Deshaun Watson doesn't play defense. Like, he's going to score 35 points per game. And I'm like, 35 is not going to cut it. They just gave up 39 to Miami. You're going to need Watson to score 40. That's like Deshaun Watson's a really, really good quarterback. He's an elite quarterback. But he doesn't average 40 points per game. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think we're all maybe a little bit ahead of our skis of like, just because Watson's coming back doesn't mean this offense is going to put up 45 and win by 3 every game.
So the Browns next week have the Buccaneers, correct?
After this week, they got the Bucs at home.
Okay. Who says you can't go to Detroit, pull off a miracle? You'll be 10-point dogs probably.
Oh, it's going to be like 2 touchdown underdogs, I think.
And then who says you can't come back home, beat the Buccaneers, Deshaun Watson back?
I want to believe it. I want to believe it. It's just, I've already sort of pre-pictured how this game's going to go in my head now that it's in the Dome in Detroit. And I feel like I'll be a clown if I stand up here and tell all of YouTube how the Browns are going to win. And then when they get clapped, it's like, wow, do I feel foolish right now?
You're forgetting the biggest positive about the game getting moved.
What
it's
is
not
the biggest
a road
positive?
game anymore. Or it's technically a road game, but you're not going to a
site.
I wonder what the crowd is going to be like.
So ticket sales are going to be interesting.
Cheap tickets, probably.
Well, I don't know. This has happened twice now where it got moved to Detroit, and the home team, their season ticket holders get tickets.
Really?
And then the rest are put up for sale by the NFL.
Okay.
Something like that.
Cleveland might travel pretty well to this game.
I mean, Cleveland to Detroit, you just go around the lake right there, so it's not too bad. It's not too far.
You're not going to be able to travel out of Buffalo, so Bills fans might have a tough time getting to the game.
I agree. There'll be a lot. I mean, the Browns fans always travel super well.
Yeah.
They always travel really well, so I have no doubt they'll be there. The issue is the Browns, fans have traveled super well for a long time. Hasn't always brought them much fortune. So that's my issue. All right. Just believe, baby. Just believe. So with that being said, that's the news right now. That the Browns-Bills game has been moved to Detroit. We still got a whole live show planned out for you guys. Let's throw the super chat menu on and stuff here. HNT, where's the faith? I have been trying to keep the faith up for all of us for quite some time, and I feel like I'm at my wit's end with really wrapping my head around the Browns beating the Bills. I honestly would have preferred the Bills to have won the last 2 games before this game, I think. Because they are hungry. They are pissed off now. Right? Josh Allen has not lost 3 in a row since his rookie year in 2018. I don't know if it's going to happen in a dome setting. Now, maybe. Right? I mean, maybe. It could happen. Nick Chubb rushes for 180 and 2 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt gets going. Amari Cooper has 120 yards in a score. DPJ has 85 yards. Maybe. I'm getting closer. Myles Garrett has 3 sacks. I feel like I'm like a superpower right now. He's coming out of me. That's what she said.
Denzel Ward throws it back.
Denzel Ward gets a pick 6. Clowney gets a sack. Jeremiah Russo-Koromoa practiced. 3 tackles for loss. Njoku practiced today. They might do this. The Browns might win. I'm almost, oh my goodness. I got vinegar strokes right now thinking about this. Okay. Super chat menus today. $2 super chat you get on screen, like Ryan and so many other people have so far today. $5 I drink out of the dog bowl like we just did for the Brown Tiger. $10 we get the fireball shots going here. $40 it is beer shotgun races between Patrick and I. If you haven't joined us for a previous live show, that is a spectacle to see. That is something you don't want to miss. And $46 you get added to our super chat wall of fame. The best dog pound out there, in my opinion. It's just full of a bunch of elite MFers right here. A lot of elite names, a lot of OGs of the channel. So if you feel you are deserving, $46 in super chats over the course of the entire show in honor of 1946 for the Browns puts you on that list. That is our happy hour menu. You guys know Patrick and I look forward to this part of the week more than right there is Sunday. It's Sunday and then this in my eyes. So the more super chats we get, just the more opportunities this channel gets to have studio space and studio time and whatnot. Here are last week's MVPs, some of the big ballers here. The Brown Tiger, Joshua Miller, Michael Warnecki. Captain Nog came to play, that's for sure. Ryan Chowdhury, we had a lot of big ballers last week. I get it, morale is a bit low right now for a 3-6 team, about to play a 6-3 Bills. But, damn it, we got to believe. We have to try and pigeonhole ourselves into a way we think the Browns can win. It doesn't feel very likely at the moment, and I get that, but we have no other choice. This is our team. There's no leaving. Not fucking leaving. The show goes on. All right. Are we ready to... So the next segment of today's show is planning ahead a little bit right now. We're going to talk about the draft very kind of lightly. Just some draft targets because college football Saturday is college football is beyond hitting its groove. We're definitely getting to some of the best weeks of the season, if you will, in my eyes. Captain Nog with a super chat. Let's go. So I'm going to give you guys some draft targets, though. That's what I wanted to spit out. Just when you're watching football on Saturday and all of a sudden you're getting close to some of these championship games and you're like, who am I watching for? I'll give you guys some names here. Captain Nog with a $5 super. We'll hold our own, win or lose. Let's go, Browns. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Woof, woof. $5 super chat from Captain Nog. That is a dog bowl.
Shay, don't worry. I already mentioned it to Petey before the show started. I was wondering if you still got your tickets. I got the rundown, though.
Oh, why don't you talk about what's going on at Ticketmaster, Taylor? What is the latest on that?
So I think Ticketmaster just took the whole tour off. Like
really?
On their website. I think that's what I read it as. Shay can confirm or not confirm here, but...
Okay. That's enough T-Swift conversation, or else I'm really going to lose a huge plunge in audience. We're at 112 right now. No one leave over... Oh, there's 111. Damn it. We lost someone to T-Swifty. Okay. So let's talk about some draft targets, right? Browns got a first-round pick. We look to round 2, which I am a junkie for the draft. I'll do mock drafts. I'm the kind of guy that looks at a mock draft the day after the draft finishes. You know what I mean? That is kind of injected into my veins. I also love saving the links to those or looking them up later, seeing how outlandish people are trying to forecast something 362 days in advance. It makes for some funny misfires on where we thought players would be. Like Sam Howell was supposed to be number 1 overall pick last year, according to 2 years ago. Didn't work out that way. Okay. Are we ready? All right. Let's talk about the draft, right? Let's talk about some round 2 draft targets. What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here, combing through some round 2 draft targets. I know it's a bit early for this conversation. I agree with that. But the Browns right now do have some holes to fill. I mean, this defense is going to lose over half of its starters in my eyes. Now, not all positions can be filled through the draft. There will be some free agency acquisitions. But I do think the Browns They have to hit on this first pick they have in the draft, which is in round 2. Now, we're filming today's video during our live show every Thursday at 4 Eastern. So in case this comes out a little bit later and things have changed, just stick with me here. But the current round 2 draft order looks something like this. The Browns currently have the 8th pick in round number 2. That's number 40 overall. It might be 39. I'm not really sure what they're going to do about the Dolphins, who had their first round pick vacated, if everyone sort of slots up a row. But regardless, this is how it currently shapes up leading into week 7. So I've got 5 draft targets for the Browns, starting with a bit of a surprising name, but what about Kayshon Boutte? What about Boutte? So I know a lot of people are going to go, what the heck are you talking about? He's not going to be there in round 2. Well, we have to remind ourselves every year, players rise and fall during the draft process, right? Guys we thought were for sure first rounders fall into round 2. And maybe Kayshon Boutte, who's supposed to be the number 1 wide receiver in this class entering this year, right there with Jordan Addison and Jackson Smith-Njigba, like those 3 guys, Boutte has sort of fallen off a little bit, sort of a slow start to the season, which has him falling behind some other names, and maybe he creeps into round 2, right? Maybe he's sort of like George Pickens, who some saw was a first-round pick last year, and it didn't work out that way. The Steelers got him right around the 40th pick last year. This might be a best player available type of pick for Andrew Berry, where is wide receiver this team's biggest need right now? Absolutely not. It is defensive line. But if Boutte's out there, it might be hard to pass up on. Now, Kayshon Boutte, if you look at his stats the last 2 seasons, huge drop-off in touchdowns. Now, Brian Kelly has utilized him in a different role than what he had in 2021, moving him around sort of out of the slot. But it is also worth to note, he has not had good quarterbacks in Baton Rouge. That would change with Deshaun Watson. And that might be where Andrew Berry goes, the fact that he's out there right now, oh, this is a complete miss by 31 other NFL GMs. We've got to get this guy here. Now, we go back to this, though, what I mentioned just a moment ago, the wide receiver room for Cleveland. They've got 2 legit wide receivers in Amari Cooper and Donovan Peoples-Jones in my eyes. DPJ with Deshaun Watson's only going to get better. David Bell, as a rookie, starting to come along the last couple of weeks. Same goes for Michael Woods. But sometimes we see teams make a pick that, sort of like the Browns did last year, did anyone have cornerback as this team's biggest need in the draft? No. Y'all thought we were set with Greedy Williams, Denzel Ward, and Greg Newsome. But Andrew Berry showed if he sees talent that he likes more than other positions, he'll take that. And maybe this could be the same situation here. But what position do you guys think the Browns should draft first? I want you all to get in the comment section and let me know. I'm expecting to see a lot of defensive tackles. And that's what I'm going to put too. But I do want you guys to have an opportunity to get your votes in down below. Speaking of defensive tackles, that brings us to our next draft target for the Browns. Javon Dexter out of Gainesville, Florida. The big guy in the middle of the defensive line. The third-year player, if memory serves me correct here. So far this year, 19 tackles, 2 sacks, even an interception. 6'6", 312 pounds. The Browns are desperately looking for a true nose run-stopping tackle. And that could be Dexter Sr. for the Browns, because all 4 of these guys are not starting next year for the Browns. None of these guys are. Taven Bryan's gone. Jordan Elliott is not starting. Tommy Togiai will probably be a surprise cut candidate when we get to that stage, and I don't think it's much of a surprise. Perrion Winfrey doesn't even have enough snaps registered to make PFF's rankings. So both starting positions are up for grabs after this year. None of these 4 guys are going to get it in my eyes. Winfrey this year maybe has the best chance since he's only a rookie. We haven't seen enough of him. But also, he has some major character and off-the-field flaws right now. He has to get that straightened out first. Defensive tackle is the number 1 priority. And so you're going to see a lot of mock drafts go defensive tackle for the Browns. And I get that. I do. But if the Browns fill that need in free agency, all of a sudden that kind of opens up their options in the draft. They'll still draft a defensive tackle. It just may not be the first pick they go with if they got 2 guys in free agency. All right? Now, I guarantee there is no other Browns YouTube channel that will get you guys the best draft coverage, which is still months away. Don't get me wrong. But when we arrive at that point, you'll be happy that you're subscribed here, to get the latest draft buzz, the latest draft rumors, mock drafts, all that good stuff. Even without a first-round pick, I'm a junkie for the draft. I love the draft. And if you do too, subscribe today. All right, this next draft target was actually from Yahoo Sports' NFL mock draft. They had the Browns going with the defensive end out of Manhattan, Kansas. That is Felix Anduke Uzoma, Felix Anduke Uzoma, the defensive end from Kansas State. He's got a high motor. He's got a lot of great physical traits, 6'4", 255 pounds. I get sort of flashes of Arnold Ebiketie if you watched him at Penn State last year. So far for the Wildcats this year, 7.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 QB hits. The Browns need to fill the opposite defensive end position. Clowney's not coming back. Alex Wright has not looked like a guy who's ready to be a starting defensive end. Honestly, Isaiah Thomas has looked more like that than Alex Wright has. So this might be a spot where Andrew Berry goes, you know what's the most important position in football? The quarterback. The next most important position? Getting after the quarterback. And we need to get another legit edge rusher opposite of Myles Garrett. Before I unveil the next 2 draft targets I have for the Browns, if you want to put some money down on NFL games, on college games, NBA, put some money on the Cavs, whatever it may be, just make sure you're doing it at BetUS. Because here at Chat Sports, we're partnered with the #1 sportsbook partner who is offering the Dog Pound a 125% deposit bonus when you go to chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code Browns125. Let's say you put 100 bones in. I got 225 to play with. I'm not going to stand up here and say put it all on Browns money line. That'd be pretty bold. But you can put it wherever you like. Just make sure you put, that's what she said, make sure you put all your money at chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Browns125. All right. Speaking defense tackle, we're going right back to it, right? Siaka Ika, the defensive tackle for the Baylor Bears. He transferred from LSU. And listen, if you're happening to watch in the TCU Baylor game this Saturday, or depending on when this video goes out, maybe you already watched him, this is a great opportunity to do some pre-scouting because this is maybe your best comp I could really give would be you know Danny Shelton. You know what I mean? That big nose tackle in the middle of the defense that's really going to eat up 1 or 2 offensive linemen and let Jeremiah Usu-Koromoa make some tackles in the backfield. Just this year, 21 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. He had 4 sacks last season. He's yet to register 1 this season. Perrion Winfrey was picked because he had some upside in the pass rush ability. His downside was run stopping. The Browns need run stopping badly, and Ika could do a great job of filling that void for the Browns. My 5th and final draft target, I know, all my Buckeyes fans out there are not going to like this. It's the team up north. It's Maisie Smith from Michigan. Cancel out the M. But he's had a very good season for the Wolverines this year. 34 tackles, just half a sack, 2.5 tackles for loss. Anytime you're watching Michigan on Fox and Joel Klatt needs to change his pants, it's because Smith is making a great play for this Wolverine defense, which I get can be a bit tough to make the bridge from Saturday to Sunday, but Donovan Peoples-Jones has been a great fit for Cleveland so far, same as Jabril Peppers, so I would not mind this pick. It's tough to estimate this early where these guys are going to go, but here are my 5 draft targets for the Browns. Kayshon Boutte would be a very pleasant surprise if he's in round 2. That would be one of those kind of best player available over the need of the team. We got some defensive tackles, Dexter from Florida, Ika from Baylor, Smith from Michigan, and then the edge rusher from Kansas State, Felix Anduke Uzoma. So those are 5 draft targets just to watch for the last couple of weeks of college football during the bowl games. If you happen to be watching TCU, Baylor, Michigan, whatever it may be, and you're like, well, I have a reason to watch now. This guy might be suiting up in brown and orange. But speaking of that team up north, I don't think it's too early to ask this. Who you got? Michigan or Ohio State? I think winner goes to the playoffs. I think the loser is probably playing in a different bowl game, but not one of the best ones out there, so not one of the playoff bowls. So let me know who you got in this one, Michigan or Ohio State. OSU coming in from Gregory and Austin. Colin Anthony Schwartz for Rashad Bateman. The Ravens block your number if you even try to offer that. They declined the call immediately. Anthony Schwartz is probably not going to be on this roster next year. The only way he is if Andrew Berry does not want to accept defeat on one of his draft picks and holds on to him for a third season, but he's not remotely a part of this offense. So Anthony Schwartz is a good example of not all track stars can be football players. It's true. It's unfortunate because he's got some great speed. He's still super young, too. Guy's not even 23 years old, if I remember correctly. So could have a long career if he straightens some things out. But that's enough Anthony Schwartz talk for today. OSU all the way. Go Bucks coming in from Tie-Man the Buckeye. Joshua saying neither. They both suck. Ooh, those are fighting words in Ohio. That's for sure, my friend. We got a mailbag coming up. Get your questions ready for this mailbag using hashtag Browns like Gregory H. always does. Or you can super chat, which a handful of you guys have done so far today. If you use hashtag Browns, Patrick can pull it and put it on screen. But you are at the mercy of the questions he picks. If you super chat, you are guaranteed a spot on screen. So get those questions in for this mailbag we're about to jump into. We got to get some more questions in. I have not seen enough. We need a lot of questions, Patrick says. So let's get some questions flowing right now. OSU all the way from Frank, from Jim, from Martin. Let's get the questions flowing into the chat right now. Anything relating to this Browns-Bills game, anything under the sun related to the Browns or even not related to the Browns, we'll answer it on our mailbag here. So get those questions in, hashtag Browns or super chat. Yeah, I need a sip. Okay.
We have a couple questions in there. They were just saying, like, do you think the game will get moved at the beginning?
So all
get
those
some new
questions. We need new questions, guys. Zizzle, you think the Browns finna make the playoffs? Use the hashtag Browns, and we'll get that question on screen. No, I do not think they're gonna finna make the playoffs right now. 3-6 is a tough hill to stand on and go, this team's a playoff team, not gonna lie. You guys got to use hashtag Browns. So just at the end of your question, include that. Otherwise, we can't get it on screen. Look at Josh. He's got a great example in there. Appreciate you, Josh. So get those questions in. Anything related to this Browns-Bills game that got moved to Detroit, which, in case you're just joining us, it got moved to Detroit. It's going to be in a dome right now. That's a bummer. We do have a happy hour menu. If you feel so inclined to make a contribution to the show, we can get a big rowdy. Have some fun here on the show during our Thursday live shows. $2, beers, cheers, and a shout-out. $5, we'll drink out of the dog bowl for you. $10, we get the fireball shots going for Patrick and I. $40, it is beer shotgun races. I'll bring up the shotgun in case you're new here and you're like, what the heck is he talking about? It's this bad boy. You load it up right here. You cock it. Boom. Me and Patrick will race. We'll duel. We'll see who's got the quickest shotgun time. You guys are the official time judge. It's always a blast. $46, you get to join our MVP wall here at the channel. So, we got some questions coming in. There we go. Appreciate this. We're getting close to a good spot right now. Would you agree, Patrick? Okay. So, I'll answer some of these kind of just like right off the cuff right here. Colin asking, what do you think of Josh Allen last week and the week before? He was not good against the Jets. I mean, he got picked off against Sauce Gardner early in that game where it was just like a Sam Darnold seeing ghosts. Like, what did you see right there type of moment? So I think Allen is – I'm not going to pretend like he is, coming down to earth a little bit because it's just 2 bad weeks that happens. And if he doesn't fumble that snap, the Bills win. It's just that simple. So – Josh Allen's still Josh Allen. Make no mistake. And unfortunately, it feels like the perfect time for him to get back to that superstar status when he gets to play against this Browns defense, which is bad. Maybe they'll come to play. I just thought if they were, it would be against Miami. And now that they're looking at 3-6 and they're facing Josh Allen, they've got to find a leader in that locker room that's going to get them to step up and play. I mean, these are the top competitors, the most competitive people out there. But at the same time, I'm not seeing a very resilient bunch from this Browns defense. I'm not seeing them snap back or bounce back. All right, we got some more questions flying in. There we go, Josh, Greg. We'll get all these on the show. Appreciate that. Hashtag Browns, or you can super chat. If you super chat, you guarantee a spot on screen. Playoffs. You talking playoffs? Playoffs? Yeah, playoffs. Well, after the show, we'll talk playoffs. I don't think it's going to have much with the Browns included, unfortunately. Damn, I really thought this team would be, 5-6, 6-5 when Deshaun Watson took over. The Jets game, if they beat the Jets, they are 4-5 right now. And all they need to do is just beat the Bucs at home, which is a very winnable game. They're 5-6 when Watson takes over. Yeah. Well, so this has been a popular topic. Is like, what if Cade York missed that 58-yard field goal week 1? Like, how bad this season really could have been. Yeah, well, what if Cade York made the field goal against the Chargers, right? What if the Browns held on against the Falcons? A lot of what ifs out there. That's the NFL. This happens all the time. Joshua Miller. Oh, I like this question. Josh, we're going to save it for after the mailbag. Is that okay with you, Josh? I like where your head's at. We're just going to put this on pause for a moment. We'll bring it up after the mailbag because, well, actually, this will be like a weigh-in on the mailbag. How does that sound to you, Patrick? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay. We got a good plan for Joshua Miller. Okay, here we go. Let's do this thing. Let's jump into a Cleveland Browns mailbag for you guys today. Patrick on the 1s and 2s, give me the green light. Here we go. Answering your questions during our live show. We've got an award-winning Cleveland Browns mailbag coming for you guys today. Matthew Peterson from Chat Sports here, answering questions the Browns fans were asking during our live show, which is every single Thursday at 4 Eastern. So if you missed it and you want to ask a question, tune in next Thursday at 4 o'clock and you will get on screen like Gregory H. did, who is hitting leadoff for us today. Do you think Njoku will start Sunday? So we are recording this right now on Thursday, so maybe this could change by the time you're watching this. He was somewhat close to playing last week. He did practice today on Thursday, and that's positive to see. Do I think he plays? That initial diagnosis was 2 to 5 weeks following the loss against the Ravens. There was the Bengals game, there was the bye, there was the Dolphins. So we're right in that range. I'm optimistic that Njoku will play. I hope so. He's having the best year of his career yet. I don't know, this Browns offense desperately needs him back to have success. I mean, Harrison Bryant had a touchdown last week, but you definitely missed Njoku. I just don't know if getting Njoku back is going to be the difference maker in the Bills game, if you will. Next question coming in from Jim. Think the Browns defense can stop the Bills running game? Good question, Jim. I don't think the Browns defense, specifically the run defense, can stop anyone. What evidence do we have to suggest outside of one great game against Joe Mixon and the Bengals, where they got up for it at home on Monday night? The Rams have the worst rushing attack in football. They average about 65 yards per game. I wish the Browns played the Rams this year. It would have been a good litmus test of who's worse, the Browns run defense or the Rams rushing attack. Do I think they can stop the Bills? The Bills' number one rushing leader is Josh Allen. So if they're able to game plan to force Devin Singletary and Zach Moss and James Cook to be the primary backs and ball carriers, got a chance, but I don't have any confidence against any team for this Browns interior unit. What's up, Greeny? Does Kevin Stefanski deserve to be on the hot seat? Interesting question. It's something that's been talked about all week at this point, and I can sort of see both sides of the argument. The Browns are 3 wins right now. If you look at the NFL standings, they are the best 3-win team, right? They continue to sort of be in decent NFL power ranking range because everyone keeps looking at this roster and is like, they have to be better than 3-6, right? They're too good. Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett, Amari Cooper, doesn't add up. Kevin Stefanski is definitely missing the boat a little bit right now. He's 22-20 in his NFL career. But hot seat-wise, does he deserve to be on it? I don't think so. Andrew Berry did not construct a good defense for him. They skimped out on defensive tackles, and that is really what's killing this team altogether. Now, Kevin Stefanski was instrumental in getting Deshaun Watson to Cleveland. Don't forget that. Nothing's happening to Stefanski at the end of the season, right? They want to see Stefanski have a year and all of next year a full season and the rest of this year with Watson and figure out if he's the right coach for Deshaun Watson, right? If not, a change will be made after that point. But Haslam, Stefanski, and Barry, those three are like the Powder Puff Girls going to get Deshaun Watson. They're not breaking up. Sugar, spice, and everything nice. No, they're not leaving after one season with Deshaun Watson breaking the band up. Not happening. But I'll let you guys kind of weigh in here. Should Kevin Stefanski be on the hot seat? Yes or no? Let me know in the comment section what you think in the comment. Let me know what you think in the comment section if whether or not good old Kevin should be on the hot seat. I'm going to go with no. I mean, he's got an offense with a backup quarterback that's averaging a lot more than a lot of offenses with their starting quarterbacks. But also, it's a good reminder for everyone, he's not an offensive coordinator. He's a head coach. You can't just dismiss this defense and special teams because he's an offensive guy. He's the OC. Sorry, he's the head coach. He's not the OC. I talked myself into it. Another question coming in from Gregory. Who do you believe has a breakout game this week? Against the Bills, a breakout game. What about Donovan Peoples-Jones? He's got 6 straight games with over 50 receiving yards. The only other player to do that is Justin Jefferson. We've seen him go off with like big plays here and there. But can we get some real yards after the catch, a touchdown run, right? I think Donovan Peoples-Jones has been getting better and better by the weeks go on. Would love to see him really put together a monstrous, 100-yard receiving game with a touchdown in there too. Sco Browns coming in next. Trade for DK after the season. Wow. Okay, so that's a off-the-wall question. No, because DK Metcalf just signed an extension with the Seahawks, and Seattle is very content with the way they're operating right now. So they have no urgency to move on from one of their best players in their prime. It would be a fun idea to pair DK and Cooper. We definitely talked about this in the offseason, but no, I give this a 0% chance of happening. And this is the NFL where never say never, but for this, I will say never. All right, what's up, Trick Crew? Is Winovich good to play yet? Haven't heard much. Will he make a difference? So Chase Winovich was activated off IR a week ago at this point, and you're right, we haven't seen or heard much of him really since the trade with Mack Wilson went down. Andrew Berry saw something. I mean, he had some good first years in New England. I sure hope so, because outside of Myles Garrett, this team has no pass rush. Myles Garrett has 7.5 sacks on the season. Off the top of my head, quick math, the Browns have 20 sacks this season. If I got that right, I'm impressed with myself. That's about 37% of the sack production coming from one player, which isn't crazy percentage because that's what Myles Garrett is, right? He's your best guy. But there is a long drop-off after Myles Garrett in terms of sacks, and they need someone to just take over the opposite defensive end position. Clowney's not getting the job done. I don't think Clowney's going to get benched, but his ankle continues to hinder him a little bit. When they rotate, whoever's coming in for Clowney needs to make the most of that opportunity. Now, if you want to get on our next mailbag, it's subscribers only here at the channel. It's completely free. Just click onto that button, and that way you can be a part of our next mailbag. You can ask a question, and you can be on YouTube.com for millions and billions of people to see. Frank is next up on the show. Did the Browns give the wrong person to the Vikings for GM? Kwesi Adofo-Mensah is the Vikings general manager that came from Cleveland. And this is one of those things where, as fans, you don't know the intricacies of a front office and who's valuable at the assistant running back coach. For example, we always see that graphic of Sean McVay, Shanahan, LaFleur were all on the Washington Redskins staff 10 or so years ago. Cancel me, I know. How do they let him go? Well, what'd you expect him to do? Fire their coach on the spot because they thought, well, one of these guys might be good in a decade. We can't let him go now. I've never understood that really. What did you expect Washington to do? Same kind of goes for Cleveland. Kwesi might be a fantastic GM in Minnesota. I wish him all the luck. But did anyone say in March, we got to fire Andrew Berry so we can keep this Kwesi guy? Just props to Minnesota for making a good hire. That's all that is. Joshua Miller, do we have anyone worth the franchise tag next year? Now, that's a good question, Josh. Hadn't really thought about that. Franchise tag, remember, takes the top 5 average salaries of the position pretty much in the nuts and bolts of it. franchise tag. They sort of did with Njoku until they got a long-term deal done. Off the top of my head, expiring contracts, like Greedy Williams, no, he's not going to get franchise tagged. On the offensive line, Conklin, no. Jed still under contract. Taki would be an overpay. It's got to be perfect. You're not going to give Taki top 5 linebacker money. JOK's under contract. No one on the interior defensive line. I can't think of anyone unless someone obvious is escaping me, and you guys can weigh in yourselves. I don't think there really is a logical franchise tag candidate. You're not going to give Kareem Hunt all that money. So, no, I just don't see anyone getting franchise tagged. But I do like the question. All right, we're going to get to more questions in just a moment, but I've got to tell all of our viewers about BetUS. If you head on over to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code Browns125, BetUS will hook you up with a 125% deposit bonus. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no other sportsbook out there that's giving you that kind of deal. So make all of your picks with me and with us at Chat Sports at BetUS. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Browns125. I've been making a killing on some college basketball. Shout out to Wright State. If you know, you know. Covering machines, baby. Brown Tiger next up on the show. $5 super chat. How do the Browns slow down Allen since it's in a dome now? Remember that teams that usually don't have a run game has a field day against us. Example, Miami. Well, Miami, you're right, was not known for running the football. They had a pretty bad rushing attack to start the year. They benched their starting running back, Chase Edmonds. They traded for Jeff Wilson, and they put up over 130 yards on the Browns. So how do the Browns slow down Josh Allen? If I had the answer for that question, I'd probably be a defensive coordinator. I'll bring producer Patrick on impromptu. He's a Vikings fan, so yes. He maybe have some better insight. The Vikings beat Josh Allen. The Browns' best bet is just pinning him at the 1 and Josh Allen fumbling. Is that the game plan here?
He does get sloppy in the red zone as of lately.
Yes, he has
thrown some bad picks.
He has thrown some bad picks, and he's also sometimes been a little bit too Madden Game Boy, where he tries to do too much and overfill his plate. So as a defense, what can you do to bring that on? Well, a lot of it starts with a balance of not just sending the house every time so we can pick you apart, but the Browns have had very little success getting to the quarterback without rushing more than 4. So your best hope is Josh Allen continues this kind of flukiness behavior. Do you have anything else?
He leads the league in interceptions.
10 interceptions this season, yeah.
Maybe losing Brian Dable. He was the one that kind of kept him under control.
I like that take. So Denzel Ward, it's your time to shine, buddy. This is on you, Denzel. Be goated. Does it make a difference that the Browns game has been moved to Detroit? I would say so. It makes a huge difference because when it was going to be in Buffalo in the snow, I looked at it as Nick Chubb versus Devin Singletary. Now it's in a dome. So now it's Jacoby Brissett versus Josh Allen on offense. And Josh Allen in a dome is a perfect 4-0. A completion percentage of 65%. Over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So now you kind of take out the X factor of this game, which was the unpredictability of the snow, of the weather, which was going to hinder Buffalo's ability to throw the football, their biggest strength. Now that they don't lose their biggest strength and they have all their guns and all their cannons along the side of their ships, it might get ugly. I am terrified. But I'll try to talk myself into it. I'm that screwed up in the head. Josh Miller with a super chat. Ooh, best Thanksgiving dessert. All right, I'm going to let everyone watching right now let me know in the comments. Apple pie. I love apple pie. That is my favorite pie. That is my favorite Thanksgiving dessert. This might be an unpopular take. I don't like apple pie warmed up, though. Room temp is fine for me. I don't like when someone puts it in the microwave like 2 hours after you're done. You're like, well, now I'm ready for second dessert. No, room temp is good for me, apple pie. Let me know your favorite Thanksgiving dessert in the comment section. Joshua Miller with another super chat. Let's go, Josh. Is it worth to switch to a 3-4 defense and bring Vic Fangio on board? Is Garrett athletic enough to be a stand-up outside linebacker in that defense? Great question, Josh. So Vic Fangio has had a long run of making very successful defenses. He did it with the 49ers. He had that 2018 Bears defense kicking ass and taking names which then got him the job in Denver. And that Broncos team, I mean, look how bad it is right now at Mile High with Russell Wilson in the offense. He had Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock winning 7-8 games because their defense was top 5 in the NFL. Vic Fangio does run a 3-4 defense, which it's always tough to make a switch like that from 4-3 to 3-4. Is Myles Garrett able to be athletic enough? Myles Garrett's called Superman for a reason, right? When you're picked first overall, you have the traits to do a lot of jobs. It might seem odd to picture it right now, Myles Garrett being an outside linebacker like that, but Khalil Mack, for example, was a player who went from the Raiders, the Oakland Raiders, to the Chicago Bears, and he made that change, and he did it pretty well. So I think it is possible, and if Vic Fangio's in Cleveland, I know it's going to make a different scheme, but it's not like the current one is working, so why not give it a shot? Last question coming in from Goodness Pete. Deshaun Watson doesn't play defense, so why would anything change with him? This is a fair point. I think there's a good contingent of fans out there, and some of myself included, that go, guys, when Deshaun Watson gets here, everything's going to change. Well, let's remind ourselves, it wasn't like Deshaun Watson was undefeated in Houston, right? Won 4 games his final year with the Texans, if I remember correctly. So, yes, Deshaun Watson will improve the offense, and he'll put more points on the board. But if the defense surrenders 38, 39 points like they did to the Patriots and to the Dolphins, no, I don't have faith in Deshaun Watson averaging 40 points per game. It will make life a little bit easier for the defense in terms of time of possession. A couple less punts here and there, keep the defense on the sideline. So Watson will raise this team. Don't get me wrong, but I do think it's a good reminder. Deshaun Watson's not going to walk onto that field and be perfect and undefeated for the rest of the season. I don't see that happening either. All right, we're at the best part of the show now, the post-game show, right? That is our mailbag. Bread pudding, cherry cheesecake, pecan or pecan pie? Big question right there. With a bit of whipped cream. Rick says pineapple pie. Eric P, who's picking off Allen this week? What about Martin Emerson? Huh? He's probably been the best corner on this team. How crazy is that to say? Martin Emerson has been the best cornerback on this team. I think you could make that argument, and I don't think you're going to have many people arguing against you for that. So I'll go Martin Emerson. This is our happy hour menu, though. So we are playing with house money at this point in the show, which means the more super chats we get, the more studio time we get. And Patrick Seaman and I, we love hanging out, chilling with you guys, talking shop, talking football, having a good time, keeping it light. And if you enjoy that too and you want to have a good start to the weekend, if you feel like it, make a contribution to the show with a super chat. This is today's menu. $2, it's a beers cheers. $5, we drink out of the dog bowl. $10, we get some fireball shots for the whole cast and crew of this production, which is a 2-man band. $40 super chat, beer shotgun races. I'm telling you, beer shotgun races, Kentucky Derby. It's not even close, guys. It really isn't, in my opinion. All right, we do have some games to play as we come towards the end of our show, but hopefully we can keep the party moving, keep the line moving here. We get some super chats flowing in here. Bring out producer Patrick Seatman.
Let's go.
Let's go. We'll make fun of his Vikings.
What do you mean make fun of my Vikings? What do you mean make fun? We're the 8-1 Vikes. Come on. Shout out Kwesi Dofa-Mensa.
Who's a better team right now, the Vikings or the Eagles?
Vikings?
The Vikings.
The Vikings are the best team in the league right now, Petey.
You know, the NFL is probably the only league, I think, in all of sports where head-to-head feels like it doesn't matter that much when you argue who's better. Yeah. You know what I mean? In college football, you beat that team, you get to hold it over them for the whole year pretty much.
Yeah.
NFL, a couple of weeks go by, and you're like, listen, we know they beat them, but they're still not better. You know what I mean?
That was in the 3rd week of September.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of November now.
Uh-huh. You just got to hope Kirk Cousins avoids prime time.
Hey, give him the 4 p.m. slots in the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
We're going to the Super Bowl, Petey.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right, we got some underdogs and some favorites. The way this works is once we run through all of our picks, if we don't have a super chat, if we don't get a super chat during them, we will have to sign off. And as you know, it's Steelers Talk. That is next in line for the studio. And it's always fun to make them stay late on Thursdays and have Patrick and I coast off, watch Thursday Night Football while they're filming till like 8, 9 p.m. because the dog pound kept them late. So if you want to stick it to any Steelers fans, this is a great way to help me out by doing so. I've got my picks, though. I got my underdog first. I like the Rams +3. The Saints are awful. Joshua Miller, the super chat.
Oh!
What up, Josh? Have a day, Josh.
You want to put this on pause real quick?
Yeah, pause for here. Josh is emerging as the MVP of today's show. This will be his first banner, I think.
Yeah.
Other than the Browns, who has the best... Oh, I love this question, Josh. Who's got the best NFL jerseys? I go to battle every day in this office making fun of the New York Giants jerseys, and I am told I am wrong. I think the Giants jerseys suck. I think the Cardinals jerseys suck. No, you asked for the best jerseys in the NFL.
Yeah.
I do like the Vikings.
I was going to say, PD has told me he loves
I think the Vikings
jerseys.
white jerseys with that blue and gold, yellow.
When they wore the all whites, never lose.
The Saints, they're pretty clean too.
I do like the Saints.
I like the Saints. I think the Rams are overrated. Whenever I watch football with my girlfriend Shaylin, she learns football more and more by the week, but it's always better jerseys to start the conversation. It's a good way to get you got a girlfriend or a wife or anyone that's not too interested in football, draw them in with the jersey.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, well, that's kind of cute. And then they're like, they see Cliff Kingsbury and it's all over.
Oh, yeah, or you could just throw on a 49ers game and be like, see Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah, see Jimmy G, and then you're single.
You see Kirk Cousins?
So I like the Vikings, and I like the Saints, and those are probably... I like the Bears. I like the
Bears.
The Bears sort of the... Kind of like the Browns of that simple, but like... not old-fashioned, but like historic look, if you will. Traditional, that's what I wanted to say.
I shouldn't say this in here. I love the Bengals jerseys.
The all-whites are nasty.
They are pretty sweet.
They all know. The Chargers, how do you forget?
Yeah.
That was a bad miss on our part. We missed the 1-1 pick right there.
Yeah.
The Chargers, the Powder Blues, they're undefeated.
Oh, the Powder Blues.
They're undefeated.
The LaDainian Tomlinson Powder Blue jersey is great.
Yep, indeed. Appreciate the super chat, Josh. If you want to be like Josh, you want to keep the show going, keep us alive here on the channel, by all means, feel free to send a super chat in. All right, going back to my underdog. What are the Saints doing? Honestly, what are you going to learn from Andy Dalton, Dennis Allen? You know what I mean? Like, at least play Jameis and find out if there's any sort of future with him. Because Andy Dalton is not coming back next year. So I think the Rams, Sean McVay, he's the better coach. He'll find a way to win. With or without Matthew Stafford, the Rams are winning this game.
I like that pick.
Yeah,
I like that
the
pick
Rams.
a lot. Coaching mismatch by far.
Yep. What's up, Jay? All right, let's give you your favorite now.
So here's my favorite. This is like the high school bullying that one little dweeby kid, and it's Bill Belichick bullying Zach Wilson. I just feel like every single time, it's a mess.
Matthew Judon's going to shove Zach Wilson into a locker.
Yes.
Type of high school bullying going on over there.
It's going to be the scene ghost memes where he's just throwing the ball up. He can't read a coverage. I think -3. Games in New England. Give me the Patriots all day, guys.
I like this one. I do too. The only fear I have is like the Jets, so much revenge factor potentially. Trying to beat their big brother, but Belichick, I just don't know when he'll ever lose to the Jets. It just doesn't. It seems like one of those things that's just like he'll retire with a 10-game win streak against New York.
This could be a 17-3 win. Yep. 17-6.
All right, no, it's not my underdog. Yeah, spin zone. This is I have back-to-back.
Yeah, two.
I have 2 underdogs.
Yeah,
I have 2 underdogs.
He's got 2 dogs.
I'm sorry, I got 2 dogs. Woof, dog pound, baby. Lions money line is free U.S. currency. Pay off all of your debts. Maybe not really, but still. The Lions, they beat the Packers, they beat the Bears. They finally are playing some Dan Campbell football. The Giants, they're frauds. Don't tell our Giants host that at Chat Sports, Marshall Green. But the Lions are winning this game. I don't think there's any arguments here. The only question is, do the Giants bother showing up? Because it's going to be that ugly. Aiden Hutchinson should have been the 1-1 pick, and he's been playing lights out lately. The Lions are absolutely winning this game. I can't envision a world where the Giants win this game. It's just so clear and obvious to me the Detroit Lions are winning. Welcome to my TED Talk.
I was going to say, Vegas knows something with this line. You have a 7-2 team at home going against a 3-6 team.
Yeah.
It's a 3-point spread.
It is bizarre. You're absolutely right.
So saying in Detroit would be favored by 3 is what they're saying.
Yep, I agree.
Wow.
Yeah. Vegas knows, and they like the Lions. I love the Lions. I adore the Lions this game. Yeah. All right, we're getting towards the end of our picks. If you want to keep the party going here, Super Chats go a long way to do so. Patrick, your underdog, please. Drumroll, please.
Give me the Colts over the Eagles.
I'm going Saturday.
bold. I'm going bold with this, Petey. Jeff Saturday, I'm going to be calling him Jeff Sunday after Sunday. He's going 2-0 in his career. I think this is a typical, everybody's going to sit back, look at the Eagles. They just got embarrassed on Monday night. They're going to bounce back, and they're going to smoke the Colts. I think the Colts could be sneaky with Matt Ryan, Jonathan Taylor, and that great offensive line. I don't think it's going to be an easy game to just go in there and it's like, oh, the Eagles are going to run all over them.
Yeah, I agree. And also,
pick.
Sometimes we do see a bit of like when undefeated teams get off to teams get off to an undefeated start and they finally drop one. Well, then maybe, when it rains, it pours a little bit, and they finish the season 12-4, and they lose back-to-back games, and they win 2 in a row, and then they lose 2 in a row. So, this game is in Philly.
No, it's in Indianapolis.
Okay, it's in Indy. It's in Indy. That's right. Also, a much bigger lopsided. Yeah, 7 points at home, coming off a, strong. Now, here's the thing. Anytime you get an interim head coach, you are good for one shocking win.
I am worried about that.
They had that with the Raiders, which maybe wasn't all that shocking. I predicted that.
Yeah,
I was all over that. So that I maybe they've already had their fun.
Yeah.
Maybe they would hit their peak, and now they're going to come back down to earth and remind us the Colts suck.
I think we went undefeated last week.
What were our picks last week?
I went Vikings and Packers. I had 2 dogs last week. You had the Colts.
I had the Colts.
Who was your other pick?
Who was my favorite? I think it was the Bears against the Lions.
It was the Bears.
Yeah.
So we went 3-1 last week.
3-1. We had a good week last week.
Go to chatsports.com/bet.
Yep. All right. So if we don't get another super chat, we do have to sign off and turn things over to Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. So if you hate the Steelers and you want some more brownie time with me and producer Patrick Seaman, this is our happy hour menu. If you feel so inclined, goes a long way to keep the lights on here at the Browns Report. If you like what you see, you like the free content, and you want to make a donation, that definitely is very much appreciated. So, happy hour menu. Kind of go off into the weekend, get you guys ready for some good college football games this week. Decent college. There's not that many great college football games this week, actually.
I'm interested in the Michigan-Illinois game a little bit.
Yeah, if Illinois wins.
That'd be crazy.
Oh, it would be. Michigan will probably win, but Michigan has played. And here's the thing with college football. You don't get to pick your schedule the year before. So, they had some bigger name play. They played Colorado State. They played Hawaii. Those 2 teams are just happen to be god-awful this year.
Yeah.
I think they played UConn, too. So, Oregon, Utah.
Yeah, that's a good game.
Utah's going to win that one.
Oh, USC.
Dr. Crew with a super chat. Let's go, Dr. Crew.
Staying alive.
Staying alive.
Shout out the Crew.
Dr. Crew, baby.
Now we get to play my game.
That gets us to $33. If we get to $50, shotgun race?
Yeah.
Yeah. We are 33. We're $17 away. If we get to $50, we will do a shotgun race, Patrick and I, with these bad boys right here. We got 2 of them. So $17 super chat, $20 want to round up, whatever, and we'll do a shotgun race. You got a game.
Here is a game I want to play, and we'll use this as our shot clock. So if no super chats come in, we're going to have to turn it over. But if they keep coming in, we can play this game as long as we want.
Good game.
So it's called Guess the NFL Player.
Okay.
But you get 10 questions total. And one of your questions has to be like, is it Justin Jefferson?
Yeah.
For example. That has to be one of your last questions.
Okay.
So I'm going to think of a player.
Yeah.
He's going to be not... You'll know him. I'll make sure you know. I'm not going to name like the 3rd string corner on a team.
Okay.
You'll know him, and you just get 10 questions. You can guess the player right away. Guess, does their team wear blue, whatever it may be.
Great radio.
Conference, whatever it is.
Okay.
Let me think of a player real quick.
I got my player. Okay, you ready?
I got my player.
Here we go. 10 questions. Number 1, NFC.
Yes.
NFC South.
No.
I gotta go NFC North.
No.
East.
Yes.
Offensive player.
Yes.
Wide receiver.
No.
Running back.
Yes.
Antonio Gibson.
No.
Oh, I called my
went for
shot. I went for it. Eagles.
Yes. Last question.
Last question. Miles Sanders.
Yes.
Let's go.
All right, that was kind of
There we go. There we
good
go.
stuff.
There we go. Love it. I love it. All right. Might not just be one of those popping Thursdays. You know, it's okay. It's okay, guys. All right. We'll put like 60 seconds on. If we don't get another super chat, we're gonna turn it over. Dr. Crew kept the candle going for a little bit. If someone could someone wants to pick up the torch, that would go a long way. $17. We'll do a shotgun race between Patrick and I. If not, like I said, it's the Steelers channel coming on in here to Studio F. Brutal. So with that being said, Patrick, we'll end on just we'll play one last little game here. Give me all right, here we go. Here's what we'll say. Who is the Cincinnati Bengals candidate this year of a team that turns it on in the second half?
Oh, yeah.
That's about 500 right now. One game below 500 or one game above 500. That goes to the Super Bowl.
It's going to make me sick saying this, but I think it's the Green Bay Packers.
Okay, the Packers.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm very scared. Like, very, very. So not that they'll win the division. I think when they get in the playoffs.
Oh, Dr. Crew!
Mine picks the Packers, though. Dr. Crew said I literally guessed
There
Miles
you go.
Sanders. No way. No way.
There we go, Dr. Crew. Coming in from deep. Love it. That puts it to $35, $15 super chat, and we will shotgun race these bad boys. All right, I'll give my one, and then we'll wrap up with that in case we don't get another super.
Yeah, so mine's the Packers.
The Packers is yours. Listen, the Packers, maybe the key to them being successful in the postseason is not playing at home. It hasn't worked.
I'll challenge you. AFC team.
I was going to go with the Niners.
Okay, yeah, I thought you were.
Yeah.
So go AFC.
AFC.
Because you kind of have the top dogs.
Yeah, so I don't see it being an AFC North team because the Lions, the Lions, the Ravens, they're not really in that tier of like Bengals candidacy. The Bengals, you can't pick the Bengals to be the Bengals again. So AFC South, Titans are there, maybe.
The Chargers.
I love the Chargers, but
get healthy.
Yeah. You know, Chargers seems too easy. What about the Jets? It's just that no one saw the Bengals doing it.
Nobody will see the Jets
No one will see the Jets doing it, and there's similar-ish resumes of quarterback in his second season, Zach Wilson. Good defense, right?
Jets have a better defense. Bengals had better weapons.
Exactly. So maybe the Jets are the Bengals of this season. You like that pick right there?
I like that a lot, actually.
All right. Well, that will do it for us on today's show. The news from the top, the game this Sunday has been moved to Detroit, which is a bummer. It would have made for an excellent snow game. The NFL is rigged. We all know this.
It's a shame.
The game is moved. Appreciate all the super chats that came in. Dr. Crew at the end, putting some life into today's show. Brad, what happened to Sue? He got signed by the Philadelphia Eagles along with Linval Joseph. So if the Browns had any aspirations of making any moves in that department, they're up in smokes. Dr. Crew with another. All right, Dr. Crew. We'll follow orders. You want
to pick a player and I'll guess?
I like the team stuff more.
Team?
Yeah.
What do you want to do team-wise?
Team, how about we take team that's going to lose at home in the playoffs. Team that will lose at home in the playoffs.
The Eagles.
The Eagles?
The Eagles.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
It's bold, but I'm going to go Eagles.
I have a cop-out. Oh, we got another one from John. What's up, John?
Let's go.
I'll answer mine after John's super chat. Who do you want to be covering Diggs? Good question. I mean, you start with Denzel Ward. Now, Denzel Ward has not traditionally been a shadow corner, right, where he kind of goes hip to hip with a guy for the entire game, no matter where Stephon Diggs lines up or whoever who he's guarding lines up. So it'll be some combinations of Ward and Newsome if Diggs moves to the slot, but Denzel Ward, he has to start his turnaround somewhere. And Tyreek Hill didn't have a fantastic game last week. He didn't go over 100 yards on 10 grabs or anything like that. He had a short touchdown, but Diggs, he's a handful, especially not in the snow. So I go Denzel Ward. I hope Denzel Ward can start to turn this game around, start to turn this season around somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. John, appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much. Cheers to you, John. Okay. My team that is going to lose at home in the playoffs, and if we don't get another super chat by the time we kind of go through this portion of the conversation, we'll have to exit out of here. I will go. The Titans seems too easy.
Yeah.
But maybe the Titans are a team that, like, since everyone's counting out right now, they surprise people in the playoffs. So what about the Bucks?
What's the question?
Team that's gonna lose at home in the playoffs. I'm gonna go Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You think wild card team, San Fran?
Yeah,
or
you know
something
the
along
Bucks
there?
will be home. They'll win the division.
That's what I said.
You want the Eagles. I think the Bucks are just bad, and there might be that little like, oh, Tom Brady in the playoffs, like turn it around, get into a rhythm at the end of the season.
Lost
No.
last year at home.
I know they lost last year. They beat the Eagles at home, then they lost to the Rams. Close game at the end, but I think the Bucks are just bad, and I think the team like
Seahawks,
the
they
Niners.
won the division.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Seahawks. Honestly, I think the Seahawks are going to win a playoff game.
Because they're hot.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks at home are going to win.
Magical year in Seattle.
Yeah, it's a magical year. So I'm going to bet heavy on Seattle in the postseason, no matter where they are, and I'll fade the Bucks for sure, and maybe even put a little sprinkle against whoever the Eagles got.
I like that.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for us, unless someone really wants to beat some, full court heave with a super. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. I know things are bleak right now. We're not where we want to be at 3-6 and whatnot, but hey, this is Cleveland Browns football. We're going to find a way to pull our bootstraps up and wake up every day and talk ourselves into winning on Sunday, as big as an underdog as they may be, especially playing in a dome in Detroit against the Bills instead of in a snowball fight in Orchard Park, New York, which I would have hoped for. For Patrick Seatman, myself, Matthew Peterson, signing off. Let's go Browns. Nick H., we missed you, but go Browns indeed. And that's kind of a good symbolic ending to the show. Go Browns, and I'll see you all
Browns.
Sunday for our watch party. We're still going to